All right, hello and welcome back. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers. And in today's video, we are going through investigating with Splunk, which is basically a challenge. And this is part of the pathway for TryHackMe for information and event management. So security information and event management, which is SIEMs. This is actually what the pathway. Oh, well, nope, it just took me automatically in here. But what the pathway looks like, and I'll just drag and drop this over here, is like this. So this is the security information event management. This is inside of the SOC Level 1 pathway of TryHackMe, and we're in the SIEM module right now. And we are doing this particular piece, which is investigating with Splunk, which is this series of questions right here. And yeah, without further ado, we're just going to jump into it. If you would like to get more videos like this along the SOC Level 1 pathway for Security Analyst or Pentest Plus or Ethical Hacker, any of that stuff, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell and like and maybe even drop a comment. Two things happen when you do that. Number one, it actually helps the YouTube algorithm find our channel so that we can help more people like you and grow the community, and it just helps us actually move forward and help more people. But the second and more important thing is that when you actually subscribe and turn on the notification, you actually get notified the next time that a video comes out. And I have done videos on all of these things already. I've done videos on endpoint security monitoring. All this stuff is on the channel. Network security and traffic analysis, all of this stuff is on the channel. So if you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, you'll actually get notified when these videos come out, and it'll help you in your path of becoming a security analyst, ethical hacker, penetration tester, so on and so forth. And in my opinion, it's a win-win situation. So without further ado, let us jump into the challenge of this room. Okay, so this room actually requires that we start the virtual machine, which ends up being the Splunk server. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to start. And then you also need to deploy the attack box, which is the blue button that comes up here. And then when you do split view, it gives you the option to go full screen. And when you go full screen, this is what it looks like. It opens up the Ubuntu Linux machine, which is here. And then you just go into the Firefox browser and you go into the IP address that they give you. The 10.10.241.43 is what I got for this instance. So I got this specific IP address right here. And from there, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes for that machine to actually load, for the virtual machine to actually load. With Splunk, the Splunk server. And once you have that, then you can go into the web browser, go to that specific IP, and it'll bring you into this little dashboard right here. And in this particular case, I believe this has already been loaded for us. So the first thing that we need to do is just go to the search and reporting so we can see what specific log file has been created, what index we're looking at, and so on and so forth. So just looking at the search history right here, it seems that index main, and they say that in the question, it says the first question is how many events were collected and ingested in the index main. So if I just click on this, I can either copy and paste it, or I can just do add to search right here, and it'll add it, and I can do all time and do a search just so we can see how many are in here. And it says 12,256 events. So let's see if that is the right answer, because we haven't gotten any kind of a timeline for this. So it might not be the answer, or it might be the answer. Let's see if it actually is. And let's see. Okay, 12,256 is correct. So that's the first question. And I'll actually start answering them in this window so you can kind of see everything as we go along. So the first question was how many were collected and ingested in the index main. So that's 12,256, and it says on one of the infected hosts, the adversary was successful in creating a backdoor user. What is the new user name? So the first thing that we got to do is we got to find first the infected host, and then from there we'll kind of work our way backwards and try to find the new username of the infected user. And the hint gives us narrow down based on the event ID. So let's see. Okay, doing a simple Google search for the event ID for a new backdoor user brought this thing up where it says, what is ID 4720? And it says when a user account is created in Active Directory, the event ID 4720 is logged. So we're going to actually go to our events right here, and we're going to look for the 4720 event ID to see if anything comes up with that. And with that event ID, with 4720, there's just one event that shows up out of all of our events. And there's a lot of detailed information that comes from this. And what we're trying to find is the username, the new created username for this, so we can see what it was. And there's a SAM account name right here, which is Alberto. And there's the subject username, which is James. And if we try to go a little bit further and see what else we can find, we'll probably find the information. So it seems to be that Alberto is the new account that's been created, and it was done under the log ID, or the login ID for James. So let's see if there's any other information that we can find, but I think it's Alberto. So let me just double check and make sure. All right, we're going to go look at Alberto. Oh, you know what? It's not Alberto, it's A1 Berto. So it's not AL. It's actually A1 Berto. I got it. A1 Berto. There we go. That's how you spell Alberto. That's a little tricky. Okay, so now on the same host, a registry key was also updated regarding the new backdoor user. What is the full path of the registry key? Okay, so here's another Google. So what is the event ID for a registry key? And so event ID 12 represents the creation and deletion of registry keys and values. So we're going to change our event ID to number 12 here, and we're going to update our search a little bit. We even have, I think we can even narrow it down to the host name, because that would probably make it a little bit useful too. So we have a host name here called Michael Bevan. So to kind of make this a little bit more of a fine-tuned search, we're going to do host name equals Michael Bevan. It's already one of these options, so voila. And then we're also going to do the Alberto in here just in case. And so now we have two events over here. And let's see if we can find a registry key. And a registry key looks just like this, actually. So this is exactly what a registry key looks like. So HKLM stands for the local machine. And then we have SAM, domains, account user, username, Alberto. So this is it. So there could also be HKCU, which is for the current user. But this is done on the local machine. So this is probably going to be our registry key. And I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste it, and hopefully that'll be the right. Great. So that is the right answer. Now the next one, examine the logs and identify the user that the adversary was trying to impersonate. So let's see who we can find that the adversary is trying to impersonate. So just from the fact that it was Alberto with a 1 in there instead of an L, I'm going to venture a guess that they're trying to impersonate Alberto. That's why they did that. But we can just kind of verify. There's something called the users. There you go. We have users here. And then look at that. So there's actually a user named Alberto under our user values. And this one is kind of a quick one to find. But you could also just guess it a little bit. You can take a guess that if they try to make something that looks like Alberto, but they replace the L with a 1, they're probably trying to impersonate somebody named Alberto. So if we did that, that should, yeah, there you go. That is the right answer. So now it says, what is the command that was used to add a backdoor user from a remote computer? So we're going to go back down the path of that adding the backdoor user and trying to find the actual command that they used to add the backdoor user from a remote computer. So this one is a little bit tricky because it could have been that first event ID, but there's the event ID for a new process that's been created, which is 4688. And we could just go back to that first event ID to see what we got. And so 4720, I'm just curious if that's actually the case, but it only brings one thing. And then in here, there's really no command that we can kind of find. So a new process created might be the other one. So we can do 4688 to see what the command is that shows up. And there's 25 various items that come through here. And so there's something right here, right? So command line, C Windows, SVC host, K, and medic service. I don't know if that specifically applies. We can try to kind of scroll through this just to see if we can find any other commands that have been run that might resemble one that creates a user. We have a value, an interesting field that has been pre-populated for us, and inside of this interesting set of fields we have a few that kind of look interesting, and then there's one that just is super obvious that says create net user add Alberto with that password. So this is the full command. I wonder if I need the full thing, but let me see if I could just copy the value of this. Maybe just copy the link, or if I click it, it should probably just open it up for us. That could be the command that's run, and that's it. So this is the full command right here. So we're just gonna take this entire thing right here, and easy to copy. So we're gonna copy that, and then we're going to go here and we're going to type that in there or paste that in there. Sorry about the background noise. It's kind of a busy night here in Los Angeles, so I'm giving my location away to you guys. It's also super rainy out here. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the news out in California, but apparently there is a new technology that they're testing with the government to launch seed clouds, basically rain clouds, to create more rain patterns, because California is like a drought state, like a no rain state. So for the last 5, 6, 7 days from the creation of this video, there's been so many freaking rainy days, like just pouring rain. San Diego was flooded, a lot of crazy stuff. So it's a busy day, busy time of the day. So I do apologize for the noise. I will try to cut out as much of the noise as I possibly can. So let's move into the next one, which is how many times was the login attempt from the backdoor user observed during the investigation. So now we want to see how many times the login attempt from the backdoor was done during this investigation. And just going back to our search being the index main and searching for Alberto, the modified Alberto, not the actual AL. This is the A1BERTO. We have some categories, and we have activity IDs over here. The activity IDs don't really help us. We have some categories here, which is process creation, registry object added, account management, executing pipeline, registry value set. We can try to see if there was any login attempts made over here. There was the creation of the thing, added the event, net user add Alberto, so on and so forth, but it doesn't seem like there was any login attempts. There's registry created. Let's see if we can find anything else. It doesn't seem like there was a login attempt. So maybe, okay, yeah, so there is no login attempt. They just created the username and password. And what is the name of the infected host on which the suspicious PowerShell commands were executed? And so we have that already. We saw that earlier. It was right here. I think it's Michael Bevan, which is the infected host. So let's see if it is Michael Bevan. I don't think it's Michael Bevan. Doesn't look like it. Let's see. So there is one little hint from here that we can actually use to try to narrow this down, which is PowerShell. So if we go up here and search for PowerShell as our potential search item, we have 198, and then we can go to host names and see what we can see. And there's one host name right here. So James Brown, that is our guy. James Brown, there he is. Now PowerShell logging is enabled on this device. How many events were logged for the malicious PowerShell execution? So let's see the events that were logged for malicious PowerShell execution, and for that we can go and try to find an event ID for it. So let's see what we can find. Okay, so when we look at event IDs for PowerShell execution, there's one that's 4104, and this is just PowerShell execution, contains a user who executed the script, so on and so forth. Content of the script might not appear suspicious. If you look at the details for the event, you can see the intent. The event ID is 4104. And then there's another one down here that allows you to identify possible misuse or unauthorized activity. This might be interesting. Track the usage of PowerShell commands and inspect the issues or errors that might crop up during the execution. So it could be 4103 or it could be 4104. So if we do event ID equals 4104, see if anything comes up. Nothing comes up. What if I delete PowerShell and just do the event ID 4104? Nothing comes up for that. So what if we did 4103? We do have that. And so let me do PowerShell one more time and see what shows up. So 79 events show up here. Let's see if that's the right answer. That is the right answer. Okay, so 79 events showed up when we searched for the event ID 4103 as well as the word PowerShell. I think without PowerShell, it might even be the same, the number of events. Yeah, it's 79 events even without the word PowerShell. So 79 events. And then it says an encoded PowerShell script from the infected host initiated a web request. What is the full URL of the PowerShell? So an encoded PowerShell script from the infected host initiated a web request. So what's the web request? Define the URL. CyberChef can help with this. So we got to define the URL. And we're looking for an infected host. Or encoded, my bad. An encoded host. So let's see what we can find here. It's a web address. Obviously, we're looking for a web address. So this is actually, I think this is it. Because this looks like an encoding. ENC right here also implies encoding. We can see that they're running a PowerShell command. This seems to be a very long thing right here. So how do I even get this whole piece from here? It's a very, very long piece. So this is kind of interesting. And then we're going to try to see, wow, look at this, man. How can I kind of speed this up and go to the end right here? Let's see if I can find the end of this. It's a very long field. That seems to be the full-on encoded version of this. Let me see if I could drag this. There we go. There's a little drag right here. Take this all the way to the end. And that is the full thing. Holy cow. Look at that. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to go to the beginning and hold down Shift. And hopefully I can highlight this whole thing. Oh, gosh. Or you know what, this might be the better way to do it. Let's just bring it, yeah, we can do this. So we'll highlight from the beginning and just kind of bring our cursor down a little bit, and we'll have this whole thing. And now I can go here and go to CyberChef. And from CyberChef, what I need to do is put this as my input. Oh my God, look at that. And what do I need to do? I need to URL decode first, I think. So bake that. And nothing comes out of that. So there needs to be a better way to do this. I don't know exactly. I gotta do a little bit of research to see how to look at this whole thing. This is insane. You can do that. Let's see. Okay, so this I would not have figured out without some research. And so we're using two different decode, or two different kind of like CyberChef option. One of them is a base 64, which is basically what this kind of is. It's just a bunch of binary code, or ones and zero type code, and then we're decoding text because it's literally just text. And then it has a bunch of different decoding options. And the first one I think was UTF-8. That was just pre-selected. And then when I made it down to 16LE 1200, which is it's the third option. When you click on this thing, it's the third option. We actually get some kind of legible text here. And can I zoom in here? I can. And so there's something right here where it says from base 64 string, and then we have this piece that it goes right here, this piece right here. So if we copy this one And let's see if that does anything for us. So now I'm gonna paste that. Ugh, I forgot to properly copy it. Let me try this one more time. Oh, look at that. Yes, excellent. So now we actually have some kind of a URL here. And so now I'm just going to do defang URL. Defang URL. And there's what this looks like. So maybe this might be the answer. Hopefully that's the actual answer. Oh, it's missing something. It's missing something after the fact because it's the defanged URL, but then there's also something else that is missing here. So I wonder what we're missing. Okay, so we went back to the original block of text and we're looking at this string right here, and there seems to be there's this right here that could be a little addition to the end of that. So if I copy this, or I'll just /news.php. So I'll just remember that /news.php. And I'm just going to take this one more time. We're going to take this one more time. We're going to copy this and we're going to delete this, paste that. That's going to be it. And then we're going to do /. Oh, I think do I need to manually do it? So maybe it'll just be this, which is what we have already here. So what if do news.php? Is that it? No, I think the .php also needs to be defanged. So like that. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. That is not bad at all. That was pretty okay. So one of the things that I'm learning is that there is an event ID attached to pretty much all the events. And so if you just do some Googling to try to figure out what event ID might be close to what you're looking for, it's not that hard to hunt these things down. And then there's a lot of interesting fields, right? So when you go, when you search for whatever, there's the interesting fields that are just kind of pulled out from Splunk that might be useful for you to look at. And there's a lot of good things that could actually fall into it that might actually be useful for us. So for example, I think for this last one, we were trying to find the host name, and so it just pulled it for us. And so there's an interesting field called, host name James Brown. And so just kind of finding the event ID that resembles what you're trying to find, or go and Google, backdoor attempt or a PowerShell command that might be suspicious or something like that. And those types of things end up helping you narrow down what event ID you're looking for. And then from there, you have more zoomed in of a search query, and then you can kind of take it from there. So that was pretty much it for our Splunk investigation. So I'm very, very excited about this. And here we are. We officially made it, and we were able to answer the questions for the investigating with Splunk task, or mission, or whatever, challenge. Let's call it a challenge. So that's it for this one. All right, so if you found this video useful, or if you learned some cool little tricks from what we just did right now, then I welcome you to like, subscribe, turn on notification bell, and drop a comment. Let me know what you learned, and let me know if you have any questions, or if you just want to say hi. All of those things help us tremendously with the YouTube algorithm, and to get a little bit more reach on this channel, so that we can go ahead and expand the community and help more people just like you who want to learn about cybersecurity and ethical hacking and security analysis and penetration testing, all that good stuff. And then there's the secondary, which is probably the more important benefit, which is you will actually get notified the next time a video comes out, and you'll kind of be able to pursue down your pathway, whichever your pathway is, whether you're studying SciSec or pen testing or whatever it is. This will actually help you not only in your studies, but in just developing your skill set to become a better security professional. So it's a win-win situation for the both of us, and I would just love to have you as a part of the community. It would be amazing to have you join the gang. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker and this was the investigating with Splunk room, the challenge that we just did through TryHackMe. I hope you learned something. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. Peace, love, and chicken grease, and I will see you in the next room later.